Hi, this is Jen Rubin, and this is Jen Rubin's Green Room. As we record this on Tuesday, the war in the Middle East, or wars in the Middle East, depending upon your perspective, have gotten hotter. Iran is launching its missiles at Israel. Israel is, at least temporarily, rolling into Lebanon, and we are once more facing an expansion of what was simply a war against Hamas in Gaza. Now, all this sounds very bad, and it is, and we certainly hope that people remain safe, that we don't have more casualties. But I must say, at some point, you do have to change the equation there. And that's what Israel is trying to do. It is degrading Hezbollah to a point in which it is practically useless. That is a huge blow to Iran, which has built up Hezbollah as its agent, as its ally, as its surrogate in the region. And that's one of the reasons that Iran is now lashing out at Israel. It has to let the region know, oh, look, we're still powerful. We're still Iran. Hezbollah can take a hit, but Iran remains strong. Well, we'll see. We'll see what the result of their launch is. Last time they tried this, they didn't get very far. Israel was able to blow up virtually all of its missiles. So, God willing, there will be few, if any, casualties. We are also sitting here awaiting the vice presidential debate. And I am here to let you in on a secret. It doesn't matter. Nope. There are all kinds of newspapers and pundits and TV folks saying, oh, this is very important. This is more important than usual, because, of course, usually it's not important at all. I got news for you. It's not important. Think about this. What individual out there is going to say, oh, I was going to vote for Kamala Harris, but really, J.D. Vance just convinced me to go vote for Trump? Not going to happen. And conversely, imagine a person who's going to vote for Donald Trump and suddenly says, oh, that Tim Walz, he seems like a nice guy. I'm going to vote for their side. It doesn't happen. I'm not saying you shouldn't watch it or it's not useful for the public to see the person who's going to be a heartbeat away from the presidency. But this constant need to make everything so important, everything determinative as a way of driving ratings, clicks, eyeballs, it's misleading, and it probably makes you too nervous. So watch it, don't watch it. We'll tell you about it after the fact. And I imagine that Trump is going to think his side won, no matter how disastrously J.D. Vance does. Now, something else is going on, of course, and that is this massive natural disaster caused by the hurricane. Now, I will point out that extreme weather is wiping out the very people who keep telling us that climate change is a hoax. The senators and the congressmen from these states are the very people who oppose every effort to mitigate climate change, which is responsible for this increased intensity in hurricanes. Warming the earth, warming the water makes the hurricanes more intense. And that's why we get the storm of the century. And every year we get one that's even more destructive than the last. Now, this is not to say we shouldn't bail these people out. Of course we should. And that is what the government is doing now. Donald Trump would have us believe that Biden is just like he is, that he's vindictive, that he isn't helping people. No, Biden doesn't operate that way. The Biden-Harris administration is deploying thousands of people. And the Republican governors of these states keep saying, we're getting great help. We talk to the president all the time. But Donald Trump's message is to spread fear, resentment, anger. He is trying to make those people think the only people who care about them are him and his cronies. And that's a lie. And it's a disastrous lie, pardon the pun, because it sets people against one another. It causes people to do desperate things. And the federal government, the state government, the local governments are doing what they need to do at this point. It will not be perfect. There will be glitches. There will be problems. There will be people who lose power for far too long. But within the confines of human capacity, we are rescuing those people. What I would like to see happen when we inevitably vote a large aid bill is put in some more climate change measures to communicate to these people that, yes, we will bail you out, but you have to start working on the problem, which is climate change. You can't keep voting against this stuff and only show up at our door when the storms destroy your homes. That's not what responsible people do. That's not what responsible states do. So let's see if that happens. Unfortunately, I fear it won't, that the Democrats, being the softies that they are, will simply give the aid without strings attached. And we'll be right back where we are right now next year. So, by the way, this is a really good example of why it is so dangerous to fire 50,000 public servants and replace them with Trump lackeys. You want people who are disaster experts. You want people who are weather experts in those jobs for exactly this type of work. You don't want someone who is a flunky of Donald Trump and knows nothing about anything. That's ridiculous. And think about this across the government, whether it's the EPA, whether it's FEMA, whether it's the EPA, all of these agencies, we depend upon people who know what they're doing. And Trump has no conception of people knowing what they're doing because he doesn't know what he's doing. And he doesn't understand what government actually does for people. So it's a perfect example of why it's so dangerous to put this guy back in office and why you need someone who's not only empathetic, but actually thinks government is a good thing. It's not that we need the biggest government or the smallest government. We need the best government. We need to make it do what we want. And that's a foreign concept to Republicans who have essentially given up on the whole concept of governance. So, God willing, we will get through this week with a minimal amount of casualties in the Middle East and a quick cleanup and rescue operation in our own country. But it is a reminder that competency matters, whether it's foreign policy competence, whether it's domestic policy competence. And if you vote for clowns and fools, government will not be there when you need it most. So you know what you need to be doing. You need to be out there making sure you're registered, your friends' relations are registered, and making sure they vote. Early voting is underway in a lot of states. You can use it. Make sure you vote now. That way your vote is banked. The campaign doesn't have to spend time chasing you to the polls. And if something happens on election day, you get sick, there's a big storm, it's okay. You've already voted. So get it done now if there's early voting in your state. Well, thank you for joining us. If you enjoy this program, you enjoy our other programs, please tell your friends. They can click right there, and they can find us wherever they get their podcasts. Bye-bye.